y'all a little information about cancer itself. In 2018, I think there was almost 2 million new cases diagnosed with cancer in the United States, and more than 500,000 of them died that same year. So it's pretty prevalent in today's society. Now, for a disease to be classified as a cell communication disorder, it must have an error in losing a signal, not sending the signal far enough, ignoring the signal, or sending too much of the signal. Cells communicate by giving and receiving signals either together locally or through long distances. Now, the cells in cancer never receive the signal to die, so they continually divide and grow, forming tumors. Now, what causes cancer? Every cell goes through a life cycle. It starts at the G1 phase, and it grows. Then it goes to the S phase where the DNA gets synthesized. It goes to the G2 phase, grows some more, and then goes to the M phase, which is mitosis and cytokinesis. But as you can see, there's checkpoints in each phase except for the S phase, and today we're going to be talking about the G2 checkpoint. Now, the G2 checkpoint has a job. It makes sure that the DNA in the cell is not damaged and it is ready to go into the next phase. But however, sometimes the DNA is damaged from environmental factors like chemicals or radiation. And so when it is damaged, a protein is sent to repair it. Now, the TP53 gene creates a tumor suppressor protein called the P53. And the P53 is that protein that's sent to repair the damaged DNA, or it allows that cell to go through apoptosis, which is cell death. In most cancer cases, the TP53 gene has a somatic mutation, which could be caused by environmental things. It could be inherited, or it could been an error in the cell division process. That mutation begins to change single amino acids in the P53 protein, and we all know that when you change single amino acids, like you have the point mutation or the frame shift mutation, it messes up the whole DNA sequence. So when those changes are made to the amino acids, the P53 protein loses its function, or its function is altered, so it cannot send the signal to repair the damaged DNA. So it results in damaged DNA accumulation, and DNA accumulation results in tumors. Now, is DNA hereditary? Some forms of DNA are autosomal dominant. There's a BRCA1 and BRCA2 gene that can develop a mutation or can be inherited from a mutation from one of your parents. And the BRCA1 gene is located on chromosome 17, as well as the P53 protein is located on chromosome 17. But the BRCA2 gene is located on chromosome 13. And most people that had that mutation or inherited that mutation have a higher risk of developing breast or ovarian cancer. As you can see down here, like this dark purple is the people with the mutation, and then the other is just the general population. So you can see there's quite a bit of an increase in development for those cancers. The symptoms of cancers are generally like little to no symptoms or persistent symptoms. Like every illness, one way or another, if you get to looking hard enough on the internet, can like lead you to cancer. This one time, I got a story. This one time, I had this little bump on my foot, and I was like really nervous about it because I was like, it was hard, lumpy. So I told my mom, and I started looking at it because that's what we do. We research stuff, and it told me I had foot cancer. And I was like, we need to go to the doctor, like go to the podiatrist because I'm nervous. But it was a wart. But it didn't look like a wart. It didn't look like a wart. I promise I'm not stupid. It was a lump and hard, okay? But some of the symptoms of cancer are like a lump in a breast, persistent cough, persistent swollen lymph nodes, blood in the stool and urine, changes in a mole, or unexpected weight loss, unexpected low blood pressure. I know with your lymph nodes, if it's swollen and it hurts, you don't have cancer, but if it's swollen and it doesn't hurt, you might need to get that checked out. But it's usually like the symptoms last over a regular period of time. You probably need to go to a specialist. Okay, there's 4 stages of cancer, and the stage and the location determine the type of treatment that the doctor will give you. Stage 0, you don't have cancer at all. Stage 1 is a small amount of cancer, or like a cancer cells forming. Stage 2 and 3 is a larger cancer and it's spread to nearby tissues or metastasized. Stage 4 is a larger tumor and it has spread to the lymph nodes and other organs. And metastasized cancer is when the cells spread to other areas, and that's really dangerous. Treatment is what usually makes a cancer patient feel bad. There's a couple different types of treatment. Chemotherapy is a drug that kills rapid growing cells throughout the entire body, so it's a good treatment for one that has cancer in multiple areas. It causes all the patient's hair to fall out, so they get that realization that they're sick, and it begins to make them feel nauseated and tired and weak. Radiation uses high amounts of radiation to kill cancer cells and shrink tumors, so it's like a good treatment to pinpoint specific location. There's also surgery to remove tumors if the doctor's able, sometimes they're not. You can also go through a stem cell transplant, which I know you can get embryonic stem cells, or you can filter out your own stem cells and then get them put back in. Now, a couple of treatment studies or new treatment studies that I looked into was the Stanford study. They injected 2 immunostimulating agents into a tumor that mice had, and it eliminated all the trace of cancer that it had. And then there's this CAR T, and that's when you filter out one's own immune T cells out and genetically engineer them to attack one's cancer cells. And they're both Stanford studies, so I thought that was pretty cool. There's no cure or preventative way of cancer, because cancer is not discriminating. It all ages, affects all ages and all races. A couple of statistics that I looked into was one that has that faulty P53 protein that we talked about earlier that repairs the damaged DNA is 50% more likely to develop cancer. Cancer is the second leading cause of death in the United States. The first leading cause is heart disease, so stop eating greasy food. And lung cancer is the most deadly, and there's an 85% relapse of the previous cancer that one has, so that's not good. And then there's over 100 different types of cancer. They have different little ribbons for each kind. There's stomach cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer, liver cancer, thyroid cancer. There's also one to honor the caregivers, because we know that whenever you have cancer, you get really weak and you can't do all the things that you used to be able to do.